Hello and welcome to today's Ninjatrader Ecosystem webinar event with Daniel and Homa of Trading Indicators. My name is Tiffany and I am a platform representative at Ninjatrader. I'd like to mention that it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity future contracts and Forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstances and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited with your broker and even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the link provided. For more information or for a copy of the CFTC full risk disclosure. Also, please remember that these training webinars are not a solicitation nor recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This webinar is presented by Ninjatrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the Ninjatrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to the Ninjatrader brokerage directly at the information provided. The Ninjatrader ecosystem website is home to hundreds of third-party apps and services, all centered around the Ninjatrader platform. With new tools added nearly every day, Ninjatrader ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find the tools and services you're looking for with a simple keyword search. You'll also find information about upcoming webinars and a demand video archive to view event recordings at the link provided. For up-to-date information, be sure to like or follow Ninjatrader on all social media platforms. I provided both the Twitter and Facebook links within the chat. Ninjatrader is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. To ensure you are on the latest version of Ninjatrader and pick up a free live data trial, please visit the following link. You can purchase or lease Ninjatrader at the following link. And if you're just getting started with Ninjatrader, we offer free live training on a daily basis. You can view a schedule of weekly webinars at the following link. We are very excited for this unique event in which Daniel will demonstrate how to know what kind of trader you are and the indicators that will best support you. Thanks again for your attendance today, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the Ninjatrader webinar room, Daniel. Please take it away, Daniel.
Thank you, Tiffany. Welcome everyone, also from my side, wherever and whenever you are. I'm super excited to be here today and to talk about our most powerful trend and counter trend indicators yet. I hope everyone is comfortably seated because we not only have a fully packed room, but also a fully packed program. Today we will talk about trading psychology. We're trying to figure out what kind of trader you are. We'll look at the indicators that best support your trading style. We'll do some live charting. We even will implement our own strategy within 5 minutes using one of the Ninjatrader tools. We even have a lottery at the end. So fully packed, and let's get to work right away. As Tiffany mentioned, oops, 1 second. There we go. My name is Daniel Sinek, and as you can probably guess, my first language is German, and I was born and raised just in the sweet spot between Berlin and Hamburg in a town called Rostock, which is a nice coastal city near the Baltic Sea. What perhaps sets me apart from other trading educators that you listen to in these webinars is that I'm actually a software engineer. I did my PhD in software engineering, and for the longest time I've been developing enterprise solutions, IT solutions. And it's been only years after that I started out of self-interest with trading. And of course, I've made all the mistakes that all of us probably have done in the beginning. I took trades when it was not a good idea. I revenge traded. I chased the trend. I risked way too much. You name it, I've done all these mistakes. I came to the realization that, wow, trading is hard and I need help. What that meant for me as a software engineer is that I need better tools and better indicators that support me in my trading. So being a software engineer, I started programming. I started my own indicators. And this is where our story begins. We operate a marketplace called tradingindicators.com. And in this marketplace, most of our tools, they've been developed first for us and for our trading. And then we thought, well, if they help us in our trading, maybe they might be helpful for other traders as well. We have a team of different skills in our in-house. We have traders, we have UX and user interface designers, we have algo programmers and software engineers. And our mission is to provide innovative trading indicators and trading tools for you, which perhaps are a bit different from the ordinary indicators that you are used to. Talking about team, I'm not alone here today. My charming colleague Homa is with me. Even though I will be doing most of the talking, she will be manning the chat. So if you have questions or comments, please feel free to post those questions in the chat, and Homa will do her best to answer these questions. And of course, at the end of this presentation, we'll take some time to go through questions as well. All right, so what do we have planned for today? I will start off by arguing that knowing what kind of trader you are, what kind of trading style is best suited for you, matters a lot. In fact, to me, that's one of the key criteria which will set you up for success. We have devised a simple questionnaire of 4 questions only, which will help you figure out what kind of trader you are. And then based on that knowledge, we'll show you which indicator best suits your trading style. We'll do some live charting afterwards where we present and go through these indicators. We'll even build an automated strategy around these indicators and backtest them. And we're going to show you how powerful these can be. We'll have a special offer for you, which we will reveal at the end of the presentation. And we even have a lottery in this presentation. One lucky winner will be chosen at the end, and he will receive one indicator of his choice, no matter what it is, from our store for free. All you need to do are 2 things. First, you need to stick around until the end of this presentation. It's very important. Secondly, please go to our website at tradingindicators.com. Homer will post the link into the chat, and either join our community by signing up, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, there are links on our homepage, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos. If you do any of this and you stick around, you will have the chance to win any indicator of our store or one indicator of your choice for free. All right, so now that you're all psyched up, hopefully, let me explain to you how I trade. I like to analyze charts and I like to analyze price actions for signs of trend reversal. That's my thing. I look at price actions and I see, maybe this trend now is weakening and perhaps there are signs for reversals. And I look at many, many charts. Once I'm confident that this symbol on this time frame has a good chance for reversal, I will place a trade into the opposite trade direction against the trend, against the predominant trend. I use a fairly tight stop loss, and more often than not, I get stopped out. Picking bottoms or tops is difficult. It's not easy, but when I am right and I pick a bottom and the trend actually reverses, I'm in for the jackpot because I will get in at a very good price. That's my style of trading. Now, Homa, she got into trading about a year ago. She's a UX designer by training. So I explained to her how I trade. I told her how I like to go against the trend. I like to analyze charts and I like to get in as early as possible. She tried it out and she almost gave up trading because she was not comfortable with having multiple stop outs in a row in the hope that we'll have one big winner. And she was also not comfortable with going against the trend. This did not make sense to her. It did not fit her personality, and she almost gave up trading. So why am I saying this? Well, I'm arguing that knowing what kind of trader you are matters. Trading is personal, and adapting or choosing the right trading technique that fits your personality will set you up for success. Now, how do we figure out what kind of trader you are? Well, I will argue that you are either more of a trend following trader or a counter trend trader. But how do we know what kind of trader How do we know what kind of trader I am? Well, it depends. It depends on your personality traits. Are you more intuitive? Do you follow more your intuition? Or are you more fact-based and based on analytics? Are you rather conservative or are you more opportunistic? Are you happy with steady growth or do you want to win the jackpot? Different dimensions, and but they will decide what kind of trader you are. You're still not sure perhaps what style is yours? Well, don't worry. We have designed 4 simple questions which will help you identify what kind of trader you are. So please grab a pen, and for each of these 4 questions, note down whether you would select answer 1 or answer 2. All right, everybody ready? Okay, let's start with the first question. During a poker game, are you comfortable sitting out multiple hands in a row in order to wait for the right hand? Answer 1, nah, way too boring. I like to play each hand with my friends. Or answer 2, yes, that's what the pros do. Please note down 1 or 2. Second question. When buying a house as an investment, what is most important to you? Answer 1, the neighborhood appeal and livability of the house. Basically meaning, would you also like to live where you're buying? Second, answer 2, the high upside potential of the neighborhood, even though you would never want to live there. Pick 1 or 2. Question 3. You receive a bonus from your employer. What do you do with it? Option 1, I buy Apple stocks. What could possibly go wrong with the iPhone? Or option 2, I invest in my friend's startup. It could be the next best thing. Pick 1 or 2. And finally, you want to set up a garden in your house. Which approach is more suitable to you? Option 1, I'll buy mature plants and plant them into my garden. Or option 2, instead of plants, I will buy seeds and plant them. The seeds may grow, but maybe not this year. It may take a couple of years. Which option do you pick? 1 or 2? All right, so let's score these together. Guess what, guys? If you answered mostly 1, option 1, you're probably more of a trend following trader. Whereas if you've answered mostly option 2, you're probably more of a counter trend trader. But what does this actually mean? What does trend following or counter trend trading mean? Let's have a look at an example. What you see here are 2 identical charts. It's exactly the same price action. In fact, it's a daily chart from Apple. And it shows 2 different types of trades. Let me just zoom in a little bit. In the upper half, you see a classic trend entry. Why is that? Well, the trend, in this case the uptrend, has been clearly established. We took out the previous high of the downtrend. As you can see here, for making higher highs, we have increased volatility. All signs that this trend may continue to the future. That's a classic trend entry. It waits until the trend has been clearly established and then makes a move. What you can see here are visualizations of one of the indicators we will show you. It's called the 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. At the bottom, on the other hand, you see a classic counter trend entry. In counter trend trading, you are looking for early warning signs that the previous trend, in this case a downtrend, is going to end and potentially reverse. Warning signs are visualized in this case by these little triangles here, showing that the downtrend is coming to an end, and there's exhaustion. And finally, we have a divergence signal, which can be a good sign for a trend reversal. In this case, this divergence signal was given to us by our other indicator, which is called the divergence cloud. So in counter trend trading, if you contrast this to trend trading, you notice that you are getting into the trade much, much earlier. In this case, at a much better price. It may not always work out like this. In this case, it worked out beautifully. You may get stopped out and the predominant trend may continue, but if you are right, you're in for a big move. All right, so this is the basic difference between trend entries and counter trend entries. If you could identify yourself more with the trend entry, you're probably more like our friend Tammy. She believes in the trend as your friend. She needs to feel comfortable when she trades. And she is completely aware that she might get in at a worse price, at a higher price in this case, but that's okay for her. She's modest in nature, and consistent growth is completely fine with her, as long as whatever trade she takes follows her intuition. These are classic definitions of a trend trader. If you would pick rather scenario 2, where you want to get into the move as early as possible, you're probably more like our friend Mitch here. He's a counter trend trader. He likes to analyze charts. He wants to get in as early as possible. He does not believe in chasing trends. He wants to be one of the early adopters. Okay? He's a bit more opportunistic than a trend trader, but he's completely confident that he may have several losers in a row because he may get stopped out. Yeah, but if he has a winner, it's going to be a good one. All right. Having this said, please be aware that whether you're a trend following trader or a counter trend trader, there's nothing wrong with either of them. Both are completely legit trading styles. Both can lead to success. What is important, however, is that you pick the right tools that support your trading style. And this is what we're talking about today. We will show you which indicators will support a trend following trading style, which indicators may support counter trend trading. And we'll focus on 2 different indicators. The first one is called the 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. It's a trend following indicator. It confirms a strong trend by looking at 3 different factors. Direction, so it needs to be an upwards or downwards move, increased volume, and increased volatility. When all 3 dimensions come together, a signal is issued. On the other hand, our counter trend indicator is called the divergence cloud. It's based on divergence, and divergence are classic signals for a potential reversal on the market. We'll demo now both indicators in live charting. All right, but before I do this, I should also mention that our indicators are a bit different from what you may know. First of all, they're all optimized for NinjaTrader, but they're also fully loaded. We're not only showing entry signals, but we're also showing when to get out of a trade, which is really the second component of any trade. You have to get in, but at some point, you need to get out as well. We use unique visualizations, which you hopefully will like, and all of our indicators work perfectly together with the market analyzer in NinjaTrader, with the strategy builder, but also with third-party tools such as Bloodhound. All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and let's look at some charts. So I will pull up NinjaTrader. Just give me 1 second, and we'll start off with let's start off with IBM. So this is a 1-minute chart of IBM. And on this chart, we have applied our 1, 2, 3 strike indicator. The green triangles here, these symbolize long entries, and the red ones symbolize short entries. I have purposefully chosen a 1-minute chart to demonstrate that our indicators are not bound to or limited to a time frame or limited to a particular symbol. They work on any time frame and symbol. So we'll be looking at very short-term charts, but also longer-term charts and daily charts. Okay, so you already know what these symbols are. You may notice these red dots before a signal occurs. These are warning signs that any of the 3 dimensions, which I mentioned before, are currently satisfied. And when all 3 dimensions, which is directionality, volatility, and volume come together, a signal is placed, both for the downside, but also for the upside. And these lines that you can see here, they are suggested exits. Basically, they connect an exit signal with the entry signal. In this case, I've set up this indicator that for each entry, I want to scale out of my position in 6 different partial exits, as you can see here. A complete exit is also done when an opposite signal occurs. So in this case, you may not have 6 partial exits, but you may get completely out of your position when an opposite signal occurs. Of course, all our indicators can be customized in any which way. So not only the logic of the indicators can be adjusted, but also the visualizations. So if you think these lines add too much clutter to the chart, you can simply disable them. As you can see here, everything in this indicator can be customized. Let's look at a different chart. This was IBM on a 1-minute chart. Now let's look at the S&P index futures on a daily chart. The same indicator is applied, but in this case, I have configured this indicator a bit differently. Index futures, as well as many stocks, they do have an upside bias. So in my trading, I don't want to trade the long direction the same way I want to trade the short direction because of this bias. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, no problem. I have configured this indicator that for long trades, I'd like to have 3 partial exits to scale out, whereas for short trades, I only want to trade the dip. 1 exit and I'm out of the trade, a very quick trade. This can be also set in the indicator as well. So you can adjust your indicator to the type of market, to the type of symbol that you want to trade. You may wonder, why didn't I do the same thing for IBM on the 1 minute? Well, the answer is easy. It's a 1-minute chart. Anything can happen. But for longer term charts on equities, I suggest to have this upside bias programmed into the indicator. All right. So this is the 1 to 3 strike indicator. Now let me show you the divergence cloud indicator. In this case, I've applied it to an Apple daily chart. And you can see the visualization of the divergence cloud indicator. And you probably can guess why the name cloud. Well, you see these glowing clouds around the price bars. A greenish cloud shows a bullish divergence. In this case, a strong suggestion that the uptrend may continue. A reddish cloud suggests a bearish divergence and an indication that the predominant trend may come to an end and may reverse into the opposite direction. Similarly to the 1 to 3 strike indicator, you also have exit suggestions. In this case, I disabled the lines that connect the entry with the potential exits, which are these triangles here, just to avoid some of the clutter on my chart. And as you can see here, the indicator does pick fairly reliable reversals in trend, or in this case, continuations of trend. Whenever you see this triangle here, it means a divergence was found. In this case, a bullish divergence. In this case, up here, a bearish divergence. Let's have a look at the configuration of this indicator. So I'm clicking on indicators. And by the way, if you get the indicator from our store, you will find it in the subfolder trading indicators. Okay. On the right-hand side, you can see the parameters for the divergence cloud. And let's focus on one parameter in particular, which is the min price move. By adjusting this parameter, you can decide how early or how late you would like to engage into a counter trend trade. This is the minimum price move against the predominant trend. So let's say we are in an uptrend and we potentially are looking for a reversal. This is a percentage value relative to the ATR, which is required for price to move against the direction of the predominant trend in order to issue a signal. So if we lower this threshold or make it a bit higher, you will see that potentially our entry signals, not in this case, may move further down. Let me just maybe increase it even a bit more. Yeah, I can't see it here, but this is the determining factor of how early you'd like to fact this signal or not. Okay, please keep this in mind. We will be using this parameter very shortly. But for now, let's have a look at one more chart. And I'm using, again, the S&P 500 index futures, this time a 30-minute time frame. And again, the divergence cloud indicator is applied to the chart. And as you can see here, it issues signals when a bullish divergence occurs at multiple times, but in the same way also when bearish divergences occur. Okay. And of course, sometimes you may have a glowing cloud that there are signs of a bearish continuation in this case, but no signal was issued. Well, this has a very simple reason. Not all the factors came together to actually issue a signal. Signals are only issues when there is big confidence that a reversal or a divergence will actually take place. And it will lead to a price move into the direction of the divergence. Okay, back to my slides. All right, so this is these are the charting. Now, question: do you believe me? Do you believe me that these indicators do indeed work and they can deliver powerful signals? Some of you may say, no, I don't take your word at face value. And for good reason. There are a lot of questionable products out there. So let me go ahead now and prove to you that our indicators indeed can be used in can produce valid signals. So how do we prove this? Well, in NinjaTrader, this is fairly easy. First of all, NinjaTrader has a very powerful backtesting engine, which is called the strategy tester, which will allow you to test and backtest any strategy. And secondly, in NinjaTrader, it is very simple to create your own strategy without any programming knowledge. I'm a software engineer, so I don't need this tool, but I still use it because it's so convenient. It's called the NinjaTrader Strategy Builder. And we will use this tool. And I'm looking a little bit with a panic on the clock because time is running. We will use this tool to build an automated strategy based on the Divergence Cloud indicator. For the sake of simplicity, we will simply go long when a bullish divergence is detected and short when a bearish divergence signal is shown. We'll have a very simple profit target and stop loss based on ticks. These, the tick amount will be entered by the user and will be given to the strategy. And we'll have one parameter for the strategy for the minimal price move required before any signal can show up. The very same parameter I just mentioned. Now, I will challenge myself to do all this in under 5 minutes. For this, I've prepared this beautiful timer. It's called the Cool Timer. And I've already set it to 5 minutes. And once I click start, I will implement the strategy for you live in 5 minutes. And I'm not very good under pressure. So let's see what happens. All right, let's get started. Go. So step number one, we need to go to the NinjaTrader Control Center. All right, here it is. You click on New, scroll down to Strategy Builder. This will open up a new window. All right, and in there you can either edit an existing strategy or create a new one. In this case, we will create a new strategy. We'll click on Next. All right, we'll give it a name. So NT Div Cloud Strategy. We click on Next. In this window, we can set the global properties for the strategy and the default properties. All these can be changed later on in the settings of the strategy as well, but let's choose some good defaults. We do not want exit on session close. And one thing that's important for our indicators is that the maximum look back bars needs to be set to infinite. So choose these two, and we can click on Next. We do not need additional data. We simply go to Next. So in this window, we can enter the user parameters for our strategy. If you remember, we will have 3 parameters: the stop loss and ticks, the take profit and ticks, and the min price move for configuring the divergence cloud. So let's add these parameters by clicking on add here. We give them a name, profit target ticks. All right. By default, we will use a value of, let's say, 50, because, you know, in counter-trend trading, you want to trade the longer move. For stop loss, oops, we will use a tight stop loss because the predominant trend may continue. So let's use a tight stop loss, let's say, of 20 ticks. And finally, we will add our min price move parameter in percent, and we use the default setting for now to configure our divergence cloud indicator. And we click OK. All right, these are the strategy parameter. And we click on next. Now we define our entry rules and the actions that should happen. So our first entry rule is that the divergence cloud indicator, scrolling down to divergence cloud, needs to give us a bullish entry signal. So we scroll down. Where are we? So a long entry signal is already given here. And we want to configure the price move parameter for the cloud by tying it with the min price move parameter of the strategy. And for the signal, we require that it's greater than 0, which means that there's actually a signal. If this value has a value of 0, it means there's no signal. So we pick greater than 0 and click OK. If these conditions are fulfilled, we would like to go long in the market. So we go to order management, enter long position, and click OK. Okay, so for the short direction, it's the same thing, just we're looking for a different signal. So we duplicate this tab just to save some time. I know the clock is ticking. We do not want a long signal to go short, obviously. Instead, we want a short entry signal. Again, it needs to be greater than 0. So we leave it as is. Oh, nope, short entry. Okay, and I will also enable plot on chart, which will show the cloud on the chart. And instead of going long, we will go short. All right, enter short position, and we click OK. All right, and next. All we need to do now is to set our stops and targets. So we first add our target, profit target. It will be tick based, and the value will come from the user inputs, profit target ticks. We'll click OK. And the stop loss, set stop loss, again, tick based, and the value will come from the user parameter stop loss ticks. We click OK, and that's it. Now all we need to do is to click on compile. This will now create the strategy for you. And once done, it will show up on screen. And now we can go to the chart and apply the strategy to the chart. So right click, we go to strategies. We're cutting it very close. And we're picking our NT div cloud strat. We enable it. And well, the timer's up. We enable it and, oh my God. We enable it and we apply it to the chart. And as a result now, you can see that this strategy actually takes trade based on the signals given to us by the indicator. All right, so far so good. But how do we know whether this strategy actually would potentially be a good strategy? Well, what you can do in NinjaTrader, you can right-click on the chart, you can go to Strategy Performance, you pick your strategy and click on Historical. This will generate for you a historical performance of the strategy given here. Of course, it's hypothetical, so you do not mistake it to what really could have happened in the market, but it gives you an idea of the strategy. It shows you that well, the hypothetical profit would have been $7,300 at a profit factor of 1.23. It also shows you that it would have traded both long and short. A few more trades on the long direction, but both directions are potentially working. Okay, so one last thing, and I know the clock is ticking. How do we optimize this strategy? And this is important because for your indicator, you want to know what are the best settings of this indicator for a particular market. Well, this is also quite easy in NinjaTrader. All you need to do is you again go to the control center, click on New, and go to Strategy Analyzer. All right. I'll just drag this over. In here, I'll remove this timer. You will select Optimization. You then pick the strategy that we've just developed, Anti-Diff Cloud Strat. You pick the symbol you'd like to try the strategy on. Let's stick with our S&P futures on the 30-minute chart. We will load in, yeah, I guess this is fine, just from the beginning of the year. And now in the optimizer, you can now ask the optimizer to find the best combination of these parameters, which would have worked best for this market, the ES on the 30-minute. So in this case, let's ask the optimizer to test everything from 10 profit ticks to 50 in increments of 10. Same for the stop loss parameter in increments of 10. And also for our min price move, let's try everything from 100 to 200, again in increments of 10. Okay, so now we click on Run. The optimizer will now try out all the different combinations, in this case 275 for these parameters, and will show you the best combination found. So in this case, you would have seen the best performance with a profit factor of 1.77 if you would have used a take profit target of 20 ticks, a stop loss of 20 ticks, and a min price move of 160. Again, both trades in the long and short direction are taken. You may say, oh my God, this is less money than on the chart, hypothetical money, of course. Well, this is because our test period is much shorter than my chart. So if I, for example, increase this, I will do this very quick from November 2020 up until today and run it, you can probably observe that these statistics will change simply because more trades are taken. You can see here now our performance, our hypothetical performance has changed, but again for the same settings, 2020 and the min price move of 160. All right, and this is one way how you can find out the best parameters for your indicator. So in this case, we'll know for the ES 30 minutes, a min price move of 160 seems to be the best one. So 160, 170, you can see it here. All right, back to the chart and back to my slides. Okay, so we've back tested the strategy and you can see there is potential in these indicators. Now, the 1-2-3 strike indicator and the divergence cloud indicator, they're not the only indicators in our toolbox. In fact, we have a whole suite of indicators which support trend following or counter trend trading on our online store. And I'd like to encourage you to visit our store, tradingindicators.com, and just browse around. And as a special offer for all of you, we offer for all participants who register to this webinar a 20% discount on all our Ninja products. Okay, simply go to our store, tradingindicators.com, and during checkout, enter the discount code NINJA for you, and the sales price will automatically be discounted by 20%. We also offer a 30% discount on any custom programming project. So you may ask yourself the question, what's custom programming? So let me give you an example. Imagine you have a particular indicator in mind, which is not available for NinjaTrader yet. Maybe it's something that's completely proprietary to you. It's based on your own ideas and principles, but you do not know how to program. What you can do in this case is to contact us through our contact form. Just tell us that you are interested in this indicator. You give us the rules for this indicator, and we will code it for you. On top of this, if you mention that you participated in this webinar, we will discount the price for this custom coding project by 30% as a special offer to all participants today. All right, so this brings me almost to my end, but of course, I have not forgotten about the lottery. So I'm going to ask my colleague Homa. Homa, do we have a lucky winner?
Yes, we do. And the name is Ari Dan is our lucky winner today.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So I was going to say, so we'll be in touch with Ari, and congratulations. You'll get an indicator of your choice today.
That's awesome. Congratulations also from my side, Ari. Please get in touch with us, or we will get in touch with you, and we'll hook you up tonight with how to get your free indicator. Now, this brings me to the end of my presentation, and I believe we do have a little bit of time for questions. Homa, do we have any questions?
Yes, we've had lots of good questions. I've answered some of them in chat, but I do have two that I'm going to discuss here. So one is from Ness, and the question is, can your indicators be used on range or Uni-Renko bar types?
Yes, the answer is plain and simple. Yes, they are not restricted to just OHLC charts, but they work just as well on range bar charts and Renko charts and any nonlinear bar types. Just be careful, and this is nothing particular to our indicators, but if you back test, for example, and this is just a word of warning, let me just go to a different chart type here. If you back test on line break charts, for example, your backtest results will not be realistic. It's just the way the backtester works and how line break charts are being assembled, because they kind of cheat as they look into the future and integrate this into their bars. So you might get an amazing performance in backtesting, which will not be anywhere close to what you get in the live market. That's my only word of warning, but that's just for backtesting on these chart types in general. Our indicators, however, will work also on line break charts. But if you build a strategy around them, do not believe the results of line break chart backtesting. All right, next question, please.
Great. Yes, from Abhijit. Do the indicators work for day trading? So I use a 2000 tick chart and trade the ES, or is it for stocks and position trading?
Yeah, okay. That's a good question. So I kind of already answered it a little bit by showing a 1 minute IBM chart, which is definitely a chart type which can be used for day trading as well. And I mentioned also that nonlinear chart types such as tick bar charts are supported by our indicators. And as such, the principles on which the indicators rely on, they apply across the board, and they are not limited to any linear chart type. They apply to tick-based charts, and yes, they can be used for day trading as well.
Okay, perfect. Williams raised his hand, but I don't see a question in chat. So William, if you could send me your question, that would be great. Joe's asking, can I use the indicators for scalping?
Yeah. Again, similar answer to what I've given before. Scalping basically means that you want to be in and out the market very quickly. And I believe I had shown a setup previously. Let me just quickly see. Yes, this is well, okay, it's a higher time frame chart, and perhaps not textbook scalping, but what I do here in the short trend trades, I configured the short signals with one exit only, which means it will come very, very quickly. I want to be in this trade in and out very quickly. Again, this is a daily chart, but nothing stops you from using a lower time frame chart as well. And you can get signals for entry and exit within a very quick succession. So yes, scalping is supported too.
Bumi is asking, can the indicator be used on Forex too?
Yes. So it always depends on your configuration. So in this case, I set up this indicator here using a particular set of parameters, which take into account the upside bias of stocks typically. So they tend to go up over time. That's why I like to run my buy trades longer and get out of my short trades quicker, just because of this bias. In FX, you do not really have an upside bias. FX by definition is cyclic. So I would just configure these indicators differently. So they are completely symmetrical because there is no such bias. But yes, FX is supported too.
We have a whole bunch of other questions, but I'm checking with Tiffany because I think we're out of time. Am I right, Tiffany?
I can give you another, let's go ahead and just wrap it up, and I'll give you 3 more questions.
Okay, that sounds
Cool.
great. Leon's asking, do you have candle close indicator for range charts?
That's a question that's a bit too generic. Why don't you send us an email through our contact form or a message, and I will respond to you. That's a bit too wide of a topic.
Yeah, and that goes for anybody. Any questions that we don't get to, please do send us an email at info@tradingindicators.com. I'll write it in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer them. There's a bunch of questions about knowledge base and videos, if they're available for the different indicators that we have. We're currently growing and working on our knowledge base. Some of the indicators do have videos available. But if there's any specific questions, again, please do email us and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's right. And we pride ourselves on answering these emails very quickly. So sometimes even in the middle of the night. So don't worry about this. Also, the parameters for the indicators, I believe they're fairly intuitive. So it should not make it too hard for you to get familiar with the indicator.
Okay, and then one last question. Do you have support to help us maximize indicator efficiency?
Well, I believe I've shown you in this presentation how you can do it yourself by creating a strategy around it and then backtest and optimize the strategy to find the optimal settings for your indicator for a particular market and time frame. But of course, if you would like to outsource this work, we'll be happy to work with you. Just contact us and we'll take it from there.
Okay, I think that's it, Daniel.
Great.
All good.
Well, in that case, I say thank you so much to Ninjatrader, first of all, for giving us this opportunity to showcase our products. Thanks, Ninja. Thanks, Tiffany. And of course, thank you all who stayed with me until the end. I highly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll talk soon. And hopefully we'll hear from you in one way or the other. Thank you. Goodbye. And Tiffany, please take over.
Absolutely. Well, I would like to start off by giving a special thank you to Daniel and Homa of Trading Indicators for a great presentation today. Everyone in attendance here today will receive an on-demand video recording of today's event, so just keep an eye open for the email. Ninjatrader Ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you find value in these events, we hope you'll attend them on a regular basis. We would like to remind you the information provided in this was of Trading Indicators and not of Ninjatraders. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Again, we appreciate the time you spend with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us at Ninjatrader Ecosystem. And again, thank you so much, Daniel and Homa.